On today's Minute of the Apes, I like to have my caffeine at 4 a.m. and 9 a.m., and it is 9 a.m., and I'm going to get hyped for this Minute of the Apes.
Exercise would an ape make a human down. Them talks. There's a divine bound.
We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
The only good human is a dead human.
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And I'm incredibly jealous because I thought about going to get a cup of coffee.
Placement?
Yes, this is the thing I drink every single day.
I was really about to say, hey, I'm going to go make a cup of coffee, except that my coffee brewer is so damn slow that I thought, but now Richard's all hyped, and I should have done it.
And that's something funny about if your brewer is so slow, yet it's to make the caffeine to make you speedy.
Yes.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
I went to long ago, I got sick of Keurig for that single brew thing, and I got a Ninja, and it's like, I'm telling you, the best coffee thing in the whole world, except that it takes about 3 hours for it to make the damn cup of coffee.
Nah.
Wow, you got to start that early. You got to get that. We have one of those ones where it's on a timer, but we'll start making coffee
Yeah.
at a particular time in the morning, and then it'll be ready by the time you get up.
If I did a pot of coffee, I would do that, but I always do the single cup. But
I don't drink coffee. I do have caffeine. I just don't drink coffee.
Do you not like coffee?
I don't typically. This is going to sound weird. I'm not a fan of hot beverages or hot things.
Okay.
I can do
Except for your husband. Hey.
Oh yeah.
I know Sean doesn't like coffee, and I somehow knew also that Sean was going to take this hot beverage into All right, minute 69. Here we are. I think we're at least kind of getting to the moment where the three of us, I don't know, are excited, but feel like it's a culmination of things that we need to discuss for the week. So, Sean, tell us what's going on with minute 69.
All right, we're going to start minute 69 with apes charging security forces and ends with units 4 and 6 finally showing up.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 69 of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Understood. Riot control reports that the apes have broken through the outer cordon. Advanced units are approaching the plaza.
Order units 4 and 6 into action immediately.
Riot control.
As of minute 69, we've got a courtyard's worth of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesars. We've lost apes and ape control and ape management. We've lost guards. And then we've got Armando. He's never coming back. He ain't never coming back. And then we've got the dead apes that have just been slaughtered before Caesar could get there.
I don't think they're ever coming back either.
I don't think so.
So this moment, when we now get Caesar coming to the same area, he's seen the dead apes, the soldiers are there with their guns, but suddenly we cut to an upward angle of a gorilla above the soldiers throwing a net down. Now,
first of all, good for using the 3D strategy of having them actually being higher and acting a little bit like apes.
Bad on them for not setting it up. Bad on them for not showing they had nets. Bad on them for Caesar not having that moment that I said earlier, which are, we'll go to the courtyard. you take the high ground. Anything like that orchestrates it does it. Now,
because they should have stopped the assassination of the murder of the apes a few minutes earlier.
Yeah, they could have turned the nets on them and then ended it. Yeah,
with this
those are sacrificial.
net?
Those are sacrificial apes. They went out there just to lay down and get killed. This is the moment when they throw those nets. That to me is when a music cue should have gone ba-da-da, where they're throwing it. Anything that says here they are, and it gets us excited. Now we feel the apes are in the fight, but it's nothing. It's just a toss, and then they still give a fire command under the nets, and bullets are going, but no apes fall. I'm sorry, you're going to tell me not one ape got shot in that moment?
I would at some point, I think that we need to do kind of a mock battle where one of us actually has a net and see if that actually stops anything. This era of television loved to use a lot of nets and netting. The ridiculous Batman animated show would do little traps like that involve these things. Do they actually work?
Well,
they're like, it's a net. I can't do anything now.
Well, we discussed this, and we kind of talked about that in previous movies. How net technology is the most amazing thing. Where once it hits you, you are down on the ground.
You are incapacitated.
I know.
I mean, at some point, I think a little later on,
I have to do a little test.
Okay.
They began to realize that they didn't work, and so they made them like electrified nets, and that was kind of the next level up for them. But yeah, they're like, what? This is going to take down an entire battalion of a unit of troops?
If I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to fry a guy with the flamethrower earlier, and I'm going to have apes with gasoline, they aren't throwing nets. This is where they use the Molotov cocktail. Boom, go to a shot, and the men go, it's brutal, but we've also just shown an ape get splattered with blood. Why couldn't the brutality continue and be on the other side?
Well, they are. The apes that are leaping down do have knives in hand. They're going to start slaughtering these people.
Well, they haven't used the gas stuff yet, so they might be saving the Molotov cocktail for another moment in a minute or two,
maybe.
But even rather than nets, if they had just had an ape with a single gun shoot from above, it would create the chaos that the troops themselves would then not know what to fire at and maybe turn away from Caesar to shoot up above. That would give them a little bit of an advantage. Just something the netting is just silly. I mean, of course, if it's for kids and it's a G-rated movie, yeah, sure, this is going to work well.
See, I had if they had shot this in today's terms, or if it was done today, you wouldn't have Caesar's group running straight at the guards. They would all be running up walls and the trees, spreading out.
Running
that
around.
way the guards aren't that way they're not just running into bullets. The guards are having to shoot different areas, and that's where the confusion comes in. I'm shooting over here because one's in the tree, one's coming off a building to me. Then, when the net's thrown in, that's even more confusion going on. And then you got apes leaping down with knives instead of them just running straight into a line of bullets like it's a Civil War reenactment.
Well, I thought right here, why didn't – okay, so a lot of the brother-sister apes have been slaughtered. The noble thing for Caesar to do at this point is to say, stay here. And he goes in the courtyard alone and he puts up his hands. That's enough. Stop. Mm-hmm. And then as they all are aiming guns, then he could look up above and go, now. And if he did that, then they start doing that. Then those soldiers are then pointing. That's where that all comes from. All these orchestration things that could have taken the moment to its truth. It just feels like chaos. That
we're gonna. I mean, we're your point of Caesar doing that kind of moment in front of these troops would also mash a little bit into tomorrow's minute with how that next scene kind of unfolds as well. But yeah, there needed to be. I say this when I look at the script, it's not really. None of this is in there, and so I think they're coming up with this choreography. And the shooting stuff, probably, I'm assuming Dane's probably on set for all of this too, kind of help them map this out. But most of his stuff has been scrapped for these little unit confrontations and small area things that are happening.
But that's also the dangerous thing. When you're making a movie and you're not following any kind of logic and you're just hey, we need this and this occurs and they should be doing this, then it becomes because when I said chaos earlier, we want chaos. We want chaos as the apes are attacking and it's out of control. Yet when you're making a film, you have to understand what the chaos is. You have to orchestrate that chaos. And there's no orchestration to this. There's no highs. There's no lows. It's just confrontations that don't make a lot of sense.
I love, Sean, your idea that they're in the trees. I mean, we're dealing with chimps, and it'd be fantastic if we actually saw them use. I mean, the trees in this particular shopping mall are not very tall or big enough for people to get into to leap out of. But that would be a pretty powerful scene if they're hiding in the trees and the troops don't see them and they're coming out of the trees. Like that'd be pretty awesome. That's what they're leaping and shooting from the trees themselves, and the guards don't know what's going on. And it would work in this actually darkened environment when you can't actually see them. You know, you get a glimpse of red or a glimpse of green in a tree, and then you don't know what's going on. I mean, that'd be pretty fun. And
you could even have the setup shots. So we've had so many setup shots where they're running through the courtyard and just shadowy figures. If we'd seen a few of them leap into the trees before, and just see them scamper up, that sets that up, and it would be interesting. Now, I do want to be fair to this. I think a lot of the camera angles are interesting, you know, low angle handheld stuff that's very evocative, again, of the race riot footage that people were seeing on TV. They did a great job evoking those things, but God, of course, the race riots aren't orchestrated at all. It's real life, but the reason real life looks that way is because there's some kind of push to it. There's logic to what's happening in the illogical moment, and there's nothing here.
The ridiculousness of the apes throwing a net that had not been, again, mentioned earlier or shown earlier or directed to be above.
Yeah. There was no Chekhov's net.
The surprise of them up at the top, all of those kind of things. But I do like that that's being done. Like, I don't want to say that I'd like that there is an attack from above. It's fantastic. It just kind of came out of nowhere and could have been used earlier to save the earlier. I don't know. The net's incapacitating people. So anyway, so what happens? We then get a cut to the command center finally, right?
Well, hang on. Before we get to that, the apes are, they threw the net down, so some of the guards are down under the net, and then the rest of the apes are charging the other guards, and you still have them going ready, aim, instead of just fire at will. Why are they, they are literally being overrun, yet they're following procedure to fire properly?
Yeah, and it has that feeling of, go back to Game of Thrones, where the soldiers, would almost kneel and do that whole, Lord of the Rings, whatever, where they actually are given the command to fire. It should be, almost an every man for himself kind of.
Yeah, fire at will at this point.
Right.
They're literally attacking us.
They did a really good job of, once the net was thrown down, making me feel like there were more apes than just the 20 that had already assembled. Because they descended upon those troops, they beat those troops. That like 10-second
knives out.
Right, that 10-second moment of them what appears to be either subduing or killing the guards. I thought was very, very well done the way that it was shot, because I felt like that chaos of the apes and chimps on top of them, pounding them, even though I didn't see them physically beat them, the baton up against the head. I did think that was a really, really nice moment. And then we cut to the command center, and the command center is relatively calm for all the chaos that's going on. Again, we get to the command center, they're all just kind of standing around. That's when we get the guy saying, he says, control reports that the apes have taken through the outer cordon. Alternate units are approaching the plaza. So what's interesting is that is in the script, right? The assistant does say that. He's on a phone. He's looking up to Breck and McDonald. Then Breck is supposed to say, then why in the hell don't I hear gunfire? And then it goes back to the units and the squads. The line that Breck utters, order units 4 and 6 immediately, is not in the script. So they added that particular point. So they're kind of riffing off of this moment again. Having already had gunfire, I guess it wouldn't make sense for him to say, then why in the hell don't I hear gunfire?
Well, because you're indoors, you idiot. I mean, they were shooting.
Well, we'll go to that to tomorrow's minute. I mean,
so we get the shots there, and we see McDonald with him. So McDonald and Caesar have